And so now here's our practice. Keep in mind that this is where we would say the rubber hits the road. That when you do these practices on a daily basis, that's when you see the total release and the unfoldment of your true self. It doesn't come from just memorizing things. It doesn't come from just hearing me speak. It comes from you developing some kind of practice where you're altering your state, coming into a higher frequency around these sacred qualities, these attributes, the very essence of the spirit, normalizing, stabilizing that state for a period of time so that emergence happens. So the exercises are extremely important. They're simple, but when done on a regular basis, you'll discover how profound they are in terms of dissolving thought forms of separation and allowing you to be prone to insight and revelation of your own nature into being. So this particular time is about, remember, love, the total givingness of the spirit. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and withdraw your attention from the world of effects. Withdraw your attention from the world of circumstances, situations, people, places, things. Just for a moment, withdraw your attention. Now think about an individual in your life. There could be more than one that you would say you truly, truly love this being unconditionally. And just feel what that feels like. Think about an individual that you know, does not have to be the same individual, unconditionally loves you. And that person could be on this side of the veil or the other. They could have already released this incarnation. But when you think about them, you think about the fact that they loved you unconditionally. Now feel what that feels like. You unconditionally loving someone, might be the same person, might not be. And then someone that totally gets you, totally loves you. So consider the feeling of what it feels like to be totally loved unconditionally. And what does it feel like to love someone unconditionally? What's important here is the feeling. Now, if you just for a moment eliminate the individuals that you love and the individual that loves you, but maintain the feeling. The feeling of love, being loved, and the feeling of loving. Now notice that your body's breathing. Now by the authority of who you are, give yourself permission that every time you breathe, this feeling of love is magnified. Every time you notice an inhalation and an exhalation, the feeling is being amplified. Totally loved, unconditional loving, becoming one thing. Just as a full breath contains an inhalation and an exhalation, this dynamic of love contains your feeling of totally loving and the feeling of being totally loved. That's a full expression, the full dynamic, a full dimensional love. A total givingness without any withhold. Now as you embrace that person once again that you love, Allow for your awareness to expand to other individuals in your life, but you're maintaining the same feeling that you have for that being. Allow yourself to scan your awareness of people you know, but don't withhold. It's not personal. It's transpersonal. Hold the feeling tone of love for the individuals that you know. Hold the feeling tone for the individuals that you know about. You are perfecting your art of loving. Loving without withholding, loving without judgment. The people right here in your neighborhood, your city, your state, your nation, regardless of whether or not you would agree with them on any given political point, but you are not withholding the love from emanating through you. You become aware of individuals that you've seen sprinkled in the news all around the world. Different countries, different cultures, different religions. Do not withhold your loving. Expand this out to all sentient beings. Expand this out to the earth, the rainforest, the rivers, the oceans, the deserts, the caves, the mountains, the lakes. The entire planet is in your field of love. There's a tender brooding of the love ethic moving through you for all creation, including all beings. Beginning with that individual that you truly love and the individual that truly loves you as a baseline of love that's now being amplified with every breath. Say in your awareness, I am an instrument of love. I radiate the most powerful essence that there is. I radiate love. I know the power of love. It is stronger than the love of power. As you are embracing the earth and all of its inhabitants, all of that is in the field of your awareness, which is emanating love. See yourself radiating and glowing with it. You are spiritually radioactive. This is the state that will give birth to a kind and just and compassionate global society. It does not come from outside of ourselves. It comes from deep within, activated soul consciousness. Say, I am love. Feel into that. Let it be. Open your eyes. And I want you to do this. I want you to take your journal, and I want you to pose this question. What would it be like if I loved everyone the way I love my dearest friends? Remember, we're not talking romance, we're not talking sentimentality, we're not talking that. We're talking about the unconditional love that births compassion for others, patience that you have with others. What if you loved others the way you love the special people in your life? Just write on that and see what comes up, what scenarios arise, what blockages within you are there, what opinions do you have that would hinder that kind of love and that kind of compassion, which is one of the highest forms of love. An understanding of a lack of understanding. Now, go forth and multiply the consciousness of the all good. Dynamic blessings, and welcome to day 3. And remember that the qualities that we are embodying, which are the very essence of the spirit, they're already within you. They are a dimension of your intrinsic wholeness. So that underlying all that we're doing, you're jogging your mystic cord of memory to come to a greater awareness that you're already whole. It's a spiritual dynamic of your being. So many people are in search of their wholeness, just as they are in search of these wonderful qualities. But they forget that they're actually shining these qualities from within them, except if they're blocking them by limited perception. So our time together is about naming these qualities, which is the very essence of your life, discovering and activating them so that we're literally vibrationally walking in that dynamic. And that is what is meant by being in the world, but not of the world. We're able to move in the world in our workaday activities, driving to wherever we have to drive, dealing with whatever we have to deal with. We're in it, but we're of a higher frequency. We're of a higher frequency that we are learning to radiate, which is a very powerful, powerful word. And so a dynamic quality that's essential to be activated in us as we are the people of the future living in the present, normalizing a state for the emergence of the next great evolution of humanity is love. When I say that word love, probably so many meanings go through people's minds. You know, the love of God, the love of one's pet, the romantic love of our intimate one. We use the word love and it has so much sentimentality. It has so much. But for our course right now, when we consider love, we consider it is the total givingness of the spirit without any sense of withhold. We would call that unconditional love. We would call that the love not based on agenda, an all-conditional love. It is an attribute and it is an essence of the spirit that can never be compromised nor contradicted. For pure spirit, the source of all creation, whatever name we choose to give it, is not sometimey, does not compromise itself nor contradicts itself. So we would even rise to be able to say that the spirit is love itself. It's a total givingness. And we have incarnated on this planet at this time in human history to perfect our ability to shine the light of love. Every being, pretty much, who has crossed over and come back, they used to call them near-death experiences. We call them near-life experiences, have all shared a very similar testimony, that the time on the planet is a time to perfect our loving, to allow our instrument, allow who we are, to be so sensitive to the total givingness of the Spirit that we're able to replicate it, we're able to reveal it, we're able to represent it, we're able to be representatives of it, to love, you see. And for such a time now in human history, the love ethic is paramount. It's so necessary. Now, one of the highest forms of love is called compassion. Compassion is a high form of love because it is the understanding of the lack of understanding. In other words, there are individuals that are on the planet at this time in human history that are totally unconscious of their spiritual nature. And they fall in prey to greed. They fall in prey to bigotry and racism. They fall in prey to homophobia. They fall in prey to any sense of separation from what they would call the other, someone that's different from them. And sometimes they're prone to do destructive things in the world. Sometimes these people run governments. Sometimes they're just people in the world acting from a sense of separation, of not knowing themselves, that are doing things that are detrimental to other people. Now, where does compassion fit in? Compassion is the understanding of a lack of understanding. It doesn't condone individuals who are ignorant, who are not living up to the true meaning of their incarnation. It doesn't condone it. But compassion rises to the level of understanding the lack of understanding. Understanding that every individual on the planet, there's a genesis to negativity. Everyone has heard the old statement that hurt people hurt people. We want to begin to be aware that behind every human aberration, there lies a spiritual aspiration. There's the energy of God, the energy of love, the energy of beauty trying to rise up, but it is being blocked or demented by limited perception, and a personality that wasn't quite developed, etc. A person with compassion knows this, not condones it, knows it, and holds a space vibrationally for individuals to grow. Sometimes individuals need to be away from other people, sometimes not. But at this time in human history where there's tremendous turbulence, tremendous polarity, where people are prone to divide themselves from someone else, from along party lines, religious lines, sexual orientation lines, people's minds have been hijacked into polarity and separation. As a matter of course, it's become almost normal. If someone of a different political party from you, you're not supposed to like them. Or if someone was born in a different part of the world, you're not supposed to like them. It's become normal in certain ways for certain people. Not everyone. Hasn't been normalized for everyone, but it has been normalized to a certain degree. You even hear reporters now, not just reporting the news anymore. They're actually like spewing their opinion and creating more separation rather than just reporting the facts. It's gone downhill in a lot of ways in terms of corporate media. But you're here for what purpose? You're here to participate in your own transformation. You're here to represent the love ethic, even when it's hard, when it's difficult. How do you do that? When you think about the people in the world, and you think about some of the things that people do that are off kilter, you say to yourself, if that was my sister or brother, how would I feel? You probably have you probably have a level of compassion for them if they were way out and way off. So the idea is you have to see everyone as your brother and sister. I mean, all the great mystics have said this, to love your neighbor as yourself, you see. to enter into high states of forgiveness. This again is beyond religiosity, it's beyond academia. It's a practice until your heart becomes a heart of love. Not syrupy, not wimpy, not being a pushover. No. Love is the most radical power in the universe. It holds everything together. And we are here to glow with it. These are the words: radiation and glowing. You want to come to an understanding. You're not just here to get love from someone, to get love from the world. You're here to radiate it. You're here to glow with it. One of the highest forms of prayer is the prayer of glowing. You're actually glowing with the love. So when you become aware that love is a total givingness without withhold, unconditional, non-agenda, all conditional, and we're here to perfect that loving. Mothers sometimes have this for their children. Grandmothers have this for their grandchildren. Individuals have this even for their pets. It's an unconditional. They just love. The kid could have done all kinds of things that weren't necessarily in integrity. The mother, the grandmother, loves them anyway, and holds that space for that person to grow into their real self. It's deep compassion. We want who we are to establish an intention, not to be syrupy and wimpy, not just sentimental, but to establish an intention to embrace and be a vehicle for the strongest power on the planet, which is love, the total givingness of the Spirit. And then remember this, then as I've said, the next stage of unfoldment for humanity will be built upon the state of consciousness known as peace and love and the rest of the attributes that we will cover later. But love, if you allow yourself to really embrace it and be a vehicle of it, it will change your life and it will change the environment that you are in without speaking a word. Why? The sense of judgment of others will begin to fall off. I did not say you would lose your discernment. You'll still be able to discern whether someone is in or out of integrity, but the judgment will begin to dissolve, compassion will rise, and you'll be a field of love. We all generate fields. You'll be generating a field of love which will invisibly and inaudibly assist people to come to their higher self. You have that much power. You want to begin to use it. You want to begin to practice this. Love, the total givingness of the Spirit without any sense of withhold. We're here to perfect our loving, to glow, and to radiate it in a powerful and magnificent way. Blessings to you.